The commercial architect of the English stage, foundations of a theatrical empire. The professional trajectory of William Shakespeare represents a unique intersection of artistic innovation and acute commercial pragmatism within the volatile landscape of the English Renaissance. His career was not merely a series of creative triumphs, but a calculated engagement with the burgeoning industry of professional drama, transitioning from a provincial background to the very center of London's cultural and economic life. Let's examine the evolution of Shakespeare's career, analyzing his strategic choices as an actor, playwright, and shareholder, while situating his literary output within the socio-economic realities of the Elizabethan and Jacobean eras. We invite you to share your reflections in the comments below, particularly on how Shakespeare's dual identity as artist and entrepreneur reshapes your understanding of his legacy. The decision of William Shakespeare to leave Stratford upon Avon for London in the late 1580s coincided with a revolutionary shift in the English theatrical landscape. Before this period, dramatic performance was largely a transitory, itinerant occupation, with strolling players traveling the provinces and performing in town halls or inn-yards. However, the 1570s and 1580s witnessed the birth of a permanent, purpose-built theatrical industry in London, driven by the construction of venues like the Red Lion in 1567 and the Theatre in 1576. This professionalization was partly a response to the Vagabonds Act of 1572, which threatened actors with prosecution unless they secured the patronage of an aristocrat. Shakespeare's entry into this rich and rising world of commercial drama was marked by the period known as the Lost Years, from 1585 to 1592, for which, honestly, no direct records of his activities survive. While legends suggest he fled Stratford to avoid prosecution for poaching deer on the estate of Sir Thomas Lucy, or that he worked as a country schoolmaster, the most likely mechanism of his arrival in London was through contacts made with traveling troops that visited Stratford. By 1592, Shakespeare had established himself sufficiently in the capital to become the target of professional jealousy. Robert Greene's famous disparagement of an upstart crow and a Johannes factotum, or jack of all trades, provides the earliest evidence that Shakespeare was already a prominent figure, capable of both acting and writing plays that rivaled the work of university-educated scholars. If this nuanced view of Shakespeare's early career resonates with you, we encourage you to like this video and subscribe for more thoughtful explorations of literary history. Shakespeare's career flourished in the liberties of London, areas such as Shoreditch and Bankside that were outside the direct jurisdiction of the city's Puritan municipal authorities. These regions were, paradoxically, central to the city's symbolic economy while being geographically marginal, hosting theaters alongside houses of prostitution and blood sports like bearbaiting. This environment allowed the commercial theater to develop a unified class appeal, where the same plays were viewed by both commoners in the yard and the nobility in the galleries. So, the early stage of Shakespeare's career was really characterized by this immersion into the competitive and often disreputable, but, highly lucrative theatrical marketplace. He didn't enter the theater as a solo genius, but as a collaborative professional, working within a structured hierarchy that rewarded versatility and, honestly, financial acumen. Shakespeare's professional identity was, pretty multifaceted, encompassing roles as an actor, a regular dramatist, and a principal shareholder. This trifecta of responsibilities was absolutely essential for financial success in a period where playwriting alone provided only a meager flat fee. His career progression really reflects a deep understanding of the internal hierarchy of Elizabethan acting companies, which prioritized those who invested capital in the enterprise. By 1594, Shakespeare was a founding member and a sharer in the Lord Chamberlain's Men, a company that quickly became the leading playing group in London. As a sharer, Shakespeare was not merely a hired employee, but a part owner of the company's assets, costumes, and playtexts, sharing in the profits of every performance. This structural position gave him a level of financial security that honestly escaped most of his contemporaries, such as Christopher Marlowe or Thomas Kyd, who remained dependent on piecework. Shakespeare's acting roles often supported his status as a kingly or authoritative figure within the company. Traditional accounts suggest he played the ghost in Hamlet, Adam in As You Like It, and, various roles in his own histories and those of contemporaries like Ben Jonson. While he was a respected actor, his primary value to the Lord Chamberlain's men lay in his ability to produce a consistent stream of popular scripts, averaging 2 plays per year for nearly 2 decades. This integrated business model meant that Shakespeare profited from the theater at every level of its operation. When the Lord Chamberlain's men decided to build the Globe Theatre in 1599, Shakespeare contributed 1/8, or 12.5%, of the construction costs, becoming a housekeeper as well as a performer and writer. This investment really distinguished him as a risk-aware entrepreneur who understood that the true money lay in the infrastructure and performance rights of the theater, rather than in the publication of scripts. The closure of London's theatres during the devastating plague epidemic of 1593–94 presented a major crisis for professional acting companies. The Privy Council, viewing theatres as crowded wellsprings of disease, shut down operations in the interest of public health, forcing many troops to tour the provinces or, honestly, face financial ruin. For Shakespeare, this forced hiatus necessitated a search for an alternative form of income, leading him to court the favor of the young and wealthy Henry Wriothesley, 3rd Earl of Southampton. During this period, Shakespeare produced 2 long narrative poems, Venus and Adonis, published in 1593, and The Rape of Lucrece, published in 1594, both dedicated to Southampton. These works were deliberately designed to appeal to the refined tastes of the aristocracy, employing the sophisticated conceits and strict stanzaic structures favored by courtly audiences. While his plays were written for a broad public, his narrative poems were high art productions that signaled his literacy and social aspirations. The dedication of Venus and Adonis is a formal, almost tentative appeal for patronage, while the dedication to Lucrece just a year later suggests a much more intimate relationship. Tradition, originating with Sir William Davenant, holds that Southampton gave Shakespeare a gift of £1,000 to assist him in a property purchase. Although modern scholarship often views this figure as an exaggeration, suggesting £100 was a more plausible sum, the patronage was undeniably successful in providing Shakespeare the capital needed to buy his share in the reorganized Lord Chamberlain's men when theaters reopened in 1594. Despite the high artistic quality of these poems, Shakespeare's strategy remained rooted in pragmatic economics. Venus and Adonis was a bestseller, outstripping his plays in print popularity during his lifetime. However, once the theaters reopened, Shakespeare largely abandoned the pursuit of dedicated patronage for non-dramatic poetry, returning his focus to the stage. This suggests that he viewed the narrative poems not as his true calling, but as a temporary and necessary bridge between theatrical contracts during a time of crisis. To ensure you don't miss the continuation of this analysis, including Shakespeare's stylistic evolution, genre mastery, and final theatrical innovations, stay tuned for part 2 of this video on Shakespeare's literary and commercial legacy.